morning and welcome to Viva. Viva! Usually we have like one person waiting in the wings.
So Kimberly Sanchez has been. Good morning, ladies. Hello, hello. Not up and running on YouTube. She's on.
Okay,
hot and ready.
Right. I'm not seeing anybody there, but good. Glad that you are here. And let me see. We are only on YouTube though. Hold on a second. That's why. My bad. That was my fault. Okay. Save changes. There we go. All right. We're getting onto Facebook. No wonder we didn't see anybody on Facebook. I'm like, what the hell? That was my bad. I guess I forgot to add Facebook. Facebook is funny. You could schedule YouTube like 6 months in advance because we schedule these like a good month or two in advance. And YouTube, you're only allowed to schedule a week in advance. So after every show, my job is to go into the StreamYard and then click on the Facebook and upload it. And I forgot to do that. So my apologies.
Oh my God, how dare you, the audacity.
My apologies. My goodness gracious. No wonder I'm like going, why isn't any, usually you see an eyeball, you know? And I think the eyeball only shows who's on from Facebook, not the YouTube side. And I'm going, usually got like one person on, like waiting in the wings, you know? So sorry about that, Facebook peeps. Glad you are, hopefully you're online now. Let me just.
Yeah, I was going to check as well.
Yeah, we're on now. All right. Sorry about that, Facebook peeps. All right. So good morning, and welcome again to Viva Cafe con Leche. It's Tuesday morning. Hope you had a fabulous weekend. I am the Badass Buddha, Lori Monaco, coming to you from beautiful, sunny Southern Connecticut. I am your authenticity teacher, speaker, coach. I am your mindfulness teacher, workshop facilitator and creator, fat eviction specialist, and chiropractic.
Say that with ganas. I am the fat eviction specialist. If you want to make a change in your life, yes, come see Dr. Lori Monaco, known as the Badass Buddha.
That's right. All right. And now my beautiful co-host.
Hola, mi gente, aquí con la Margarita on this beautiful, triumphant Tuesday. It is, yesterday was just beautiful. Today starting off the same way. I am your spiritual and creative healing life coach, your writer, your author, your artist. I am the Gladiator Guru, magically orgasmic. And today I am wearing gifts that I received here while I've been in Connecticut. This necklace, which of course is longer, but I don't like to wear them long, was given to me by Carmen Nieves. Comes with earrings, bracelet, and a ring. Like she gave me the whole kit and caboodle on this one, right? And then this, I don't know if you can see it, my nail jewelry was given to me by Iritza. I wore that the other day, and it's like I got a lot of looks on it. You see it? It's so beautiful. Why can't I center?
I know.
It's beautiful. So I thank you to the tribe for always being here for the Badass Buddha and I every Tuesday and Thursday morning. It means the world to us, for us to get up and do this for you. We had a lengthy conversation about this twice, right?
Yeah.
And we're very grateful. We carry kindness in our hearts, and we show up twice a week for everybody to hear, and so that we may teach and learn at the same time. Now that's called balance. And so thank you, everybody, for coming. Everybody who's on, buenos dias. Namaste.
I think you should take the nail jewelry and put it on the middle finger. So when you want to show people, you're like, look what my friend gave me.
But it doesn't come into size for the middle.
Oh,
finger.
It doesn't fit your middle.
Oh, it does.
Yeah, I was going to say it has to. See, that's what you say. See, I'm such a nice friend. See. Look. Good morning to Connie. Good morning, Connie. Good morning, Tiffany Torres. Good morning, Linda McPhee. Wanda Stover in the house. I heard it's hot as hell down south, Wanda. Good morning, Iritza. Iritza is gracing us with twofold. She's on YouTube and Facebook simultaneously. This is dedication, my friends, right? Kimberly Sanchez is on. Good morning. Attica, Bolahala. Good
Bolahala's in the house.
morning. Tiffany Bryan is in the house. Good morning. So good morning, everybody. So glad that you are on this morning. And, don't forget to give a shout out. Remember that we will see you for sure if you say good morning. So make sure that you put a comment in there in the good morning. It's not that we're not looking at the video on Facebook. It just makes it so much easier for us to comment and say good morning to you. Also, don't forget to let us know what you're drinking this morning. We're going to talk about that. Let us know, let people know where you're from as well, because it's always a great conversation, when we're talking. I mean, like the weather alone, just that piece alone has been a phenomenal conversation for people because we have the craziest weather across the country. It's like on a daily basis now. So Desiree's good morning. Desiree's been very vocal. She's constantly reaching out to us, commenting. She's been messaging us. So she's absolutely fabulous. We love the engagement, Desiree. We really appreciate it.
Yes.
So tell us what you're drinking this morning. And we're going to talk about what we're drinking this morning. Do you want to do that first? Or do you want to do our intention and our mantra?
Absolutely. I am drinking Café Bustelo with coconut milk and lactose free. No, you can see you. And what's cafe? What are you drinking? And then I'll give my café con leche. Whew.
I'm so glad you asked. I'm so glad you asked what I'm drinking. So what I'm drinking, check this out. This is called, see it? Fulvic infused coffee. Okay. And so let me tell you that I met somebody and I just wanted to try this. So fulvic acid is a mineral. It's like this ridiculously potent mineral, and they infuse it in the coffee. You can also get it in pills, but I figured it's, for our show, I'm going to try it with the coffee. And it's, they infuse the coffee with vitamins and fulvic acid and vitamins, minerals, and antioxidants. So it's an Italian dark roast blend with a perfect mellow flavor and a crisp, clean aftertaste, which seems pretty good. Mild roast, dark body, light citrus notes, mildly acidic. I am not, I'm really not a big fan of black coffee, but I will drink it because I have to. So today I actually have more of a keto coffee this morning. So I put that coffee in and I made it a little bit bulletproof. So I put butter into it. That's what usually put bulletproof coffee in. And I got to tell you, it's pretty good. It's like I usually prefer a little sweetness to counterbalance the bitter, but it's pretty good. I actually like it. So so what it's supposed to do is restore alertness. Not that the caffeine doesn't do that already, but the idea is fulvic acid, and this is found in research, has been shown to increase oxygen levels in your system, your whole entire blood system, including the brain. And we can all use a little bit more oxygen to our brain for sure. So I'll let you know how it goes. I started drinking it yesterday and I'm going to be drinking it every day. We'll see how it goes.
Let's see how it goes, because that's all we could do, right? Is give it at least a full 4 to 7 days, because I think in the first 4 days, you can tell if there's a difference in something. So yeah, Piri says she's drinking Café La Llave. Thank you for sharing that. I love Café La Llave as well. Ghee butter is normally, it's an Ayurvedic bullet coffee from Ayurveda, and they put Ghee, butter. Ghee yeah, in it, and I say turmeric, but it's turmeric, right? No, I don't know. However you say it, potato. So yeah, I used to give that to Eric in the first 2 years of his ALS journey. And at first we thought, oh, sounds disgusting, but it was pretty good. So yeah, so try it. I mean, you know what? We should try anything once, except tongue. I don't want to ever try a cow's tongue.
Yeah, me either. I'm not a big fan of any animal organ, period. But you know what? Turmeric is actually really, really medicinal. And it is, it is a strong taste. I'll give it that. But I'm telling you that if you're going to cook with spices, look into turmeric, look into ginger, look into.
But the root, not the powder.
And so, well, yeah, you take the root and then you grind it down into the powder so you can cook with it. But So the following herbs are really, really good to cook with. Not maybe all at the same time because they kind of, I don't know how they would work all together, but depends. Some of them, yes. So like turmeric, ginger, cilantro is actually quite medicinal
Love
as
it.
well. And oregano. So all of these are known to be antibacterial, antiviral, especially turmeric. Turmeric is the bomb for spices. And that one is antiviral, it is an immune booster. And so and I usually make it with tea. Like I just put it in tea a lot of times, and I'll just put a little honey to offset the potency of it, but it's real good stuff. So it's definitely, yeah, see, look at Michelle saying turmeric has to be consumed with soluble fat to be effective. Yeah. Well, and that's why if you have it with butter, it's great. So but turmeric with oil. So if you're cooking with oils, that's a good, that's why. And a lot of those are Indian spices. A lot of Indian spices are really, really naturally antiviral, antibacterial.
I met a man from India. It was this program where, because of Eric's situation, a bunch of volunteers came and painted the outside of our house. And I was talking to him because that's when I started my studies in the Ayurvedic. I can never say that word. And he said that in India, they don't use the turmeric in powder or anything. He says you buy the root, like ginger, and you cut off the sides of the tip of your index finger, you peel it, then you chew it. He says it's hard at first, but if you do that first thing in the morning, you chew it, get all the juices out, and you swallow it, and it sits in your stomach. So at the start of every day, it is fighting for the best interest of you. It fights and kills all the negative stuff in your gut. He says he grew up on it, but he said that's the best thing. They don't use the powder. So of course I use the powder because I put turmeric in my salads and all that. But I was using the stuff. And now that we're talking about this, now when I get back home, I'm gonna have to start buying the actual one. I personally would blend at it and chew on it. But yeah, so that was good. And yes, Jonathan, good morning. But yeah,
it says right. That's what I kept forgetting to say, that turmeric is excellent for inflammation and ginger is excellent for digestive. And then it writes, this is too funny. They say cow balls are good too. Hey, listen, you know what? Let us know. Let us know. Let's give Edith a challenge, and Edith is going to try cow balls for 2 weeks, and then let us know how you feel. Share with the tribe.
Yeah, no, we're not doing that. Not me.
No, not us. Edith is going to
try. So what do you have? The mantra?
No, I have the intention. Tuesday intention for me. So the intention today is today I will be amazing and treat people with respect and honor. I will be amazing and treat people with respect and honor, because we are all one people. Always remember that. And so today I will be amazing and I will treat people with respect and honor. Allow them to be their amazing selves, even when they seem to be a-holes. There's enough of them out there. It doesn't mean you have to be, right? And give people the benefit of the doubt, because there are plenty of beautiful people out there. Not one person represents everyone.
Absolutely. That's beautiful. Mine's today is very simple. Live out loud and out of the shadows. Stand in the sunlight and let your brilliance shine, and let it feed your soul and others around you. So live out loud and out of the shadows.
Sounds perfect.
So coffee, café con leche. What is café con leche?
You go, Michelle, we're still in a conversation about balls. Yes, Rocky Mountain oysters. That is what they are referred to. Cow balls. I think goat balls too. Rocky Mountain oysters.
Bold and positive, respect and honor. Kimberly and Jonathan, they piggyback off of us. That's beautiful. Thank you, Desiree. Yes.
Okay,
That's
my dear,
awesome.
go ahead. Go ahead with the cafe.
So cafe con leche, because I've been slacking on the Tuesdays, and it's like last night I was like, no mas,
I
no
know.
mas.
I
I'm going to
know.
live out loud. And this triumphant Tuesday, cafe con leche is the warmth on a brisk morning, is it not, mi gente? It is the comfort of chasing away the loneliness. Cafe con leche is a certainty of a productive day, a love of self after the first sip that whispers, you got this. Café con leche is a self gift of arrival first thing in the morning, a celebration of the daybreak movement of dreams in vibrant color of success and accomplishments. Café con leche is magically orgasmic. That's what café con leche is for me. And it is. Café con leche does chase away the loneliness, because how many of us have been like so frustrated and upset, and instead of going to talk about it or going home to lay in the bed, we go and have a cup of coffee somewhere, and we sit there and we people watch and we sip the coffee.
I think it wakes my ass up. That's what coffee does for me. It wakes my ass up. It
doesn't wake me up, and it doesn't keep me up. It's like that. When you're in love, it's that first morning you turn around and you kiss that partner you have with you. That's my coffee for the past 4 years. That's what I've been kissing every morning. And it kissed me back. And that's it.
Oh my God. Look, boy, we really started a conversation. So let's see. Desiree says no more ball eating for her. Okay, so good. That sounds like a really good intention to set for yourself.
Carmen Nieves is on.
Nieves is on. Yeah, you know what? So let's talk about that magically orgasmic cafe, Gladiator Guru. Let's just quickly talk about what we did this weekend. And we were very happy to do it along with Carmen. And thank you so much for inviting us and asking us to volunteer, Carmen. So just give a little, so what did we do Saturday, Gladiator Guru?
We were up and at Captain's Cove by 8:30 in the morning. And we participated in something that was very lovely and just had an all-day effect on me. And even though the pride of something being around for 20 years and consistent, and we, Carmen Nieves, the badass Buddha, her beautiful little Charlotte, and myself, we met up at Captain's Cove, and we walked 4.2 miles from Captain's Cove to St. Mary's by the Sea and back. And it's a walk to end homelessness.
Yes.
And I thought it was phenomenal. It was like it woke me up in many different areas in my heart. So that was beautiful. So Carmen, thank you. I'm wearing the necklace you gave me. And I think it's phenomenal how people, with the things that the people said, the individuals who started this 20 years ago, and they're still as excited about it, I guess, as they were back then. And to hear them speak, it's like they just started doing this and they're so hopeful. So 20 years later, and they're still hopeful when they're speaking about it. And even the people that joined, after they initiated it, the way they spoke of it and their concerns for the future of the people. And what got me was when Carmen Colon said that during the pandemic, they had to open up a section at Southwest because they didn't want the people affected by COVID that were homeless living under the highways. And that affected me, because we go through our daily lives and unless it's right there in our face, we don't give that a second thought, that we complain, but yet there's people living under highways and on park benches and in the bushes and being ill and not having nowhere to go. So I commend this, the program that Carmen Colon, Andres Ayala, and Carmen Nieves is a part of, because it just shows the humanity. There's still so much humanity left in the world that want to give a hand up to those in need. So I was proud to be a part of that moment Saturday morning alongside the badass Buddha and Carmen Nieves. Do you have anything to say?
I agree. I think I was very thrilled to do it. It was a beautiful day. The dedication of those individuals, and I didn't even think about it. And I felt terrible in the midst of it for a moment just because I didn't have the awareness. But in order for us to make changes within ourselves, we have to be aware of things. It never really dawned on me about people who are homeless or even people in shelters, and then the COVID complication. Like my dad was ill the last couple of weeks, about 3 weeks now, and he ended up testing positive for COVID while he was in the hospital, and we needed to get him a ride back to the house because we couldn't pick him up. He needed a wheelchair, and we had two options, and one of the place wouldn't take him because he was COVID positive. Meanwhile, he was already he had already been positive for a couple of weeks, so he wasn't really a threat. But that was just one incident. I couldn't imagine people who were homeless, and then even if you wanted to go into a shelter, then there was that added complication. Then you're turned away. There's so many reasons why people are turned away, and these individuals who step up and they create these, and they did it, right? So when they were telling that story, they did it within hours, right? Wasn't it something like once they decided the need was there, Carmen Colon got on the phone and made some calls and then called people. And then next thing you know, it was like within hours or like a day, they had I think it was within hours, they had the facility and they were already stocking up for people to be there. I mean, that is incredible. I mean, that is, it speaks volumes of the individuals that work there, and it speaks volumes of how they all work together as well, and the relationships that they have forged over the years with the government, because it was a phone call, right? I think she said to the state senator, that really sort of kicked things off. And so it's, this is what it is about being amazing, being amazing and working together with amazing other people, and so I'm great, because I get sometimes into this habit of just being home and working from home and not really pushing myself to get out more in the public like that. And I really, really got to say thank you so much to Carmen Nieves, because the invite put it into my head. And then Gladiator Guru said she was doing it. And I'm like, you know what? I'm going to do it. And then I brought my youngest child with me, and it was fabulous. Like I after that, I was just like, I just want to keep doing these things. And we walked 4 miles.
It really was nothing. I think it was it really was a quick walk, but I think it was still beautiful just to look at everything, to be out there in nature and to see people moving. That's very inspirational. And then to keep this movement going as well, because a lot of homeless people don't go to shelters. It's very dangerous for them in shelters, unless it's a quick one-nighter, let me give you medicine and stuff like that. So I think that, before you complain about something, stop, take a breath, and look around you, because not everybody has that. And you might think you have a hole in the wall, but that's your hole in the wall where you're safe behind a closed door. So you know what? And share, because we're all one paycheck away from being homeless.
You know what really put it into perspective for me with homelessness? When you think of homelessness, it's really hard enough to think about families that are homeless. When you see adults, we have this idea. I don't know if we do it because it helps us deal with it, but we always think with adults, we're like, oh, well, they put themselves there, or they did this, or they're drug addicts or alcoholics, or they have mental, whatever. And those are not excuses. It's much harder when you see it and then you see children involved, right? Okay, that takes it to another level with people. But put it into perspective with me was that movie, The Pursuit of Happiness, when he, as a dad, single dad, homeless, was trying to find a shelter. And at that point in time, the only shelters they had for children were with mothers. And I was watching this going, oh my God, this guy can't find a place to stay with his child because he's a man, and it was so heartbreaking. But in general, I mean, you know what? It's about awareness. So here's the deal, and then we'll get started on our conversation, because this is an important conversation today. This all starts with awareness. So, one of the things that we recommend, maybe starting today, okay, think about how you can give back, in this way. There's a lot of walks that go on. There's so many things to support. Find something that resonates with you. Find something that you feel really, really big on, and get out there and just do it. If you're nervous about getting out, then get out outside. A lot of these are things that they're going outside, just to be a part of. It was so nice. How nice was it to be around all these people? It was so nice to be around all these people. It was a beautiful day. We were sitting on the shore. We had the officials there. It was beautiful. People were happy and laughing and enjoying. And as we walked through the neighborhoods, the scenery was nice, right? As we walked through the neighborhoods, the people that were walking, that lived in that area, we were saying hello to and good morning. And it was just so nice to connect, right?
It was beautiful. It's just a beautiful experience to get out into the world, because, when we isolate, we miss so much. When we judge, we miss so much. Like people always ask me, why are you giving money to the people standing on the corner? They're going to use it for, I don't care what they use it for. If it's in me to give, I'm going to give. And who am I to judge when I come from alcoholic parents? And so I just feel that if you give, when my husband was alive and it would get cold in Tampa, he would ask me to collect. So I would collect socks and extra blankets we had. And around the corner, there was like a huddle of homelessness. And he would say, go and give this to him, because he felt cold. Because Florida does get cold, mi gente. And I just think that, here this man's dying and he thinks that way. And we just need to participate more. Carmen just said that 400 children are in Bridgeport shelters each year. Yeah. That's devastating, because we just need to be better. We need to be aware of what's happening in our community. We need to give of our time, because that's all people really need, is our time and our smiles. And if we carry kindness in our heart and we're grateful for what we have, then it's easy to show up for someone who doesn't. And that's all it is. No judgment. Just show up. You have a warm bed, clean towels. You can sit down and watch TV. Then you know what? Give of your time and give with gratitude and kindness for what you have and what you're able to give. So that's what I'm saying. We will be a work in progress until our last breath. So as we're working to progress, then let's work in sharing, in caring, and in just being grateful. And I think that people who are homeless or in different circumstances, they'll feel that vibe from us. So they're willing to be more accepting. They're not homeless and expect you to provide for them. They still humble. They still try to keep that part of pride in them. They're in a situation, they're living in a moment. So you know what? If you can assist somebody, then do it, damn it. Don't worry about what they're going to do. If your dollar is that precious, then put it back in your damn pocket. But don't judge what you don't know. And that's what we need to start doing, is being aware of everything, of ourselves and everything around us. Because what were we born for? We were born to be of service. So let's be of service. Contact Carmen Nieves if anybody's interested in learning about anything going forward with the Bridgeport sector of the Walk to End Homelessness. That's it.
All right. So let's talk. So today's conversation is a big one, and I have a feeling that a half an hour of this conversation is probably not going to be long enough to because this is a big one. And I have to thank Gladiator Guru for bringing this one up. This was her idea. This was the topic that she picked, and as I was researching this topic, I think it just got me more and more aggravated as I was researching this topic. So the topic today is what minority really means. That's the topic for today. So do you want to get started on what do you want to start the conversation?
Well, before you can get started on like what it means, but let me tell you, when I'm approached, there's two words that I don't respond by, and people would look at me like, oh, and I don't respond to it. That's being called the minority. Oh, you're or Hispanic. And those are my choices. And they're both state-imposed bureaucratic labels given to us by the government to congregate us all into one. And we're not like that. So I don't I don't go by any of that, even though we're talking about the minority one. And always, I even taught my kids when they were in school, if they call you by that, you don't move, because that's not what you are. You are not less than anyone or anything. And yes, I agree with you. When I was reading last night, when the word was first created and the book, the first time that it was written in books, it's very frustrating, because both you and I, Badass Buddha, are looked upon as minority. Why? Take it from there. Why are we labeled minority? You and I.
Because we have a vagina.
Thank you. Because why? Because they fear the power of pussy. So we automatically, as women, are a minority, right?
Oh my God. Yes. So, right. So let's talk about, I'm trying to get, okay, there we go. So let's talk about this. What is the definition of minority? Did you write any of this stuff down? Because I copied some of this stuff, and it was very interesting to see, what it is. So
what did you get?
So sociologist Lewis Worth, 1940, this is a definition from 1945. Defined a minority group as any group of people who, because of their physical or cultural characteristics, are singled out from the others in the society in which they live for differential and unequal treatment, and who therefore regard themselves as objects of collective discrimination. The term minority connotes. Yeah, it just sounded funny.
It's all right.
I know it's connotes, but it was like, okay. So discrimination.
You're thinking of a cannoli. That's why it's too early for that shit, Lord.
The term minority connotes discrimination and its sociological use. The term subordinate can be used interchangeably with the term minority, while the term dominant is often substituted for the group. That's the majority. Then another one said, according to Charles Wagley and Marvin Harris, 1958, a minority group is distinguished by 5 characteristics: unequal treatment and less power over their lives, distinguishing physical or cultural traits like skin color or language, involuntary membership in the group, awareness of subordination, and high rate in-group marriage. Now, you know what really threw me on this one? What really, really pissed me off? Awareness of subordination. Mm-hmm. Meaning that in order for you to say that you are a minority group, you have to be aware that you are subordinate.
Yeah, well, because they try to brainwash you for so many years. But then I step up and go ahead.
That is like disempowering massively to say, I'm a minority. I'm a minority group, which automatically suggests that, and this is the problem that you have, because it's saying that you are subordinate, you are below the other group, which, by the way, now listen, in the United States, for example, non-Hispanic whites constitute the majority. Mind you, 63.4%. That's the majority.
That's a lie. Yeah, that's a lie.
Okay. And all other racial and ethnic groups, Mexican, African Americans, Asian Americans, American Indian, Native Hawaiians. I don't know why they said Mexican, but I would imagine Latino.
No, Mexicans do not like to be referred as Latino. They're Mexican.
No. I'm sorry. So the definition. So I know you don't like the term Hispanic, but when they define the difference between Latino and Hispanic supposedly and I know we'll have another conversation about Hispanic in general, but it is those who speak Spanish. And Latino is more specific to those from Latin America.
No, that's what they're brainwashing you.
No, I'm saying that's what it is. So those are classified as minorities. So 63.4% are non-Hispanic, which are white, and then all the rest constitute anybody else who is not white. And those are minority. That's the minority.
Well, that's the 2 words that they try to brainwash us so that we keep the slave mentality that no matter how educated we become and how much money we make, we are still less than the white population. Hispanic is a state-imposed bureaucratic label given to us by the government to congregate us all into one. And we are not one. We all have different cultures, traditions, different dialects. Like I speak Spanish. and Spain speaks Spanish, and the whole Central America, but the words are so different. They mean different things. So sometimes I have to take a step back and says, what the hell are they talking about? Because I don't understand. Or like, I'll give you for instance, for us, a bumblebee, right? It's a bumblebee, right? For some Central American, it's called un bicho. Well, to Puerto Ricans, un bicho is a man's penis. So if you see somebody in the park, from Central America, talk about, ay, mira el bicho, Puerto Ricans will be like, oh shit, where? So you can't congregate us all into one. And what does Hispanic truly mean? It means that the white man panics knowing I'm educating myself. So they try to keep us step down. So minority and Hispanic, it doesn't matter how many times it's been written. It is unacceptable in my life. Look, and people need to wake up.
That's what Edith wrote. It means his panic.
Oh, you remember? I teach them. This is what I taught them. This is what I taught my kids. So Iris, thank you for remembering the lessons that I taught.
So when we're talking about minority, like what constitutes minority, this is how they break it down. It could be race, color. And when we talk about race color, we're talking about white, black. I'm just saying in general, like what defines race color, not minority. So race color, white, black, African American, American Indian, Alaska Native, Asian, and Native Hawaiian, and other Pacific Islanders. Ethnic background, religion, and gender. So those are all, like when we're talking about minority, we're either breaking down into gender, we're breaking down in religion, we're breaking down ethnic background. Obviously, the most common definition of minority has to do with color and race. I mean, that's the most common. When you think of, when somebody says minority, the first thing that pops into a person's head is color and race. And so then it got me thinking, when you fill out those stupid things about what your background is, and they say it's optional.
I never put it.
Right. And I thought to myself, like, in the end, what does it fucking really matter? Seriously, like why does that even matter?
It matters to the white person. And I don't want to sound racist since we're talking about racism, but this is something, but my definition, we didn't get to my definition, is a minority or minority group is a subgroup of the population with unique social, religious, ethnic, racial, and or other characteristics that differ from those of the majority group. The term usually refers to any group that is subjected to oppression and discrimination by those in more powerful social positions, whether or not the group is a numerical minority. Examples of groups that have been labeled minorities include African American, women, and immigrants, among others. And that was that. The first time, it was in 1932 that the word minority was born. And in 1952, a book was written called The Nature of Prejudice. In 1952, what's his name? Hold on 1 minute. He wrote a book because in 1952, he was like, hold up, that don't even sound right. In 1952, The Nature of Prejudice. And what do we do with that? Here it is. 1954, Addison Wesley, he's a scholar. So that was written there. So it goes back. There's a book. It's called The War on Puerto Ricans, and it talks about that as well. But all over, Edward James Olmos talks about this, how he would not allow anybody. And Edward James Olmos, you don't even got to hear his accent to know he's Latino. He would not allow any of this, and it's about who the hell. What's the biggest fear? If you put all the numbers of their so-called minority, we will outnumber the majority. That's the fear. So we got to start not even allowing our children to use that.
Yes, I agree with you.
Anything that has to do with it's minority. It's disgusting, and you need to fight it. And if somebody refers to you like that, are you Hispanic? I'm like, I know they ain't fucking talking to me. I don't care where I'm at. And if I have to write what I am, I cross everything out and I write Puerto Rican / Italian. Like, yeah, I'm gonna confuse your ass because you shouldn't be asking. But I think it's within us. It's to teach our children growing up, stop being lazy. This is something that will mess with the mind, and it will always keep you imprisoned in your own thoughts of what your capabilities are. That's how powerful minority and Hispanic are. It keeps you locked up in this cage that you could only deal with your kind of people. And then when you're dealing with the majority, you feel inadequate. You feel like you're not going to speak well. You're not never going to be dressed appropriately, that you're going to have to kiss ass to get somewhere. And I've seen it happen from very intelligent people that I know are intelligent, but they go by, well, you know, I got to do this to get here. No, you got to be who you are, and you got to climb that ladder of success the way you climb it, whether you're running up, whether you're skipping up, whether you're going 1, 2, 3, 4 step, 1, 2, 3, 4 step, or you're jogging up the damn step, but you do it on your terms. And I think that the more we start cleaning out the junk and unfucking our brains with certain words and labels and titles that were passed on through people who don't give a shit about us, that's when we start landing in our lane correctly.
Well, you know what? You know when this really, like, so I was, again, you get so desensitized because you just, it's awareness, right? And it didn't, until I was researching this, right? So I'm going to put up with what Desiree said, because this is how I felt too. So Desiree says, I cringe when I have to fill the box stating that I am white. I want to be able to say I'm Italian, Canadian, and French. Okay, so let me clarify something. On the boxes, you either write, you check off, you're either white or black, then
non-white.
Okay, or whatever, and then you say what. So my kids are Puerto Rican. Okay, they're Puerto Rican and Italian. Why is Hispanic separated from any other culture? Why doesn't it say, okay, so my kids are they white or black, and then are they Puerto Rican? Are they Italian? Like, why is it not Italian, Irish? What the hell does that mean? Like, why?
Because you're still considered white.
No, but yeah, no, I get that. But if you go to Spain, look at the people there. You know what I'm saying? So where does that to me, it doesn't make any sense. Like, why would you? This is where we have to say enough already. Like, seriously, like Luis Sanchez said something very, he says, this is what he said. He said, we can subcategorize ourselves as a non-existence, one-legged, blind, toothless, hairless, trans, albino, midget, right? Then he goes, we are Americans. Like, why do we have to put anything? Like, I think those boxes need to go, period. I think they freaking need to go, because my category is separate from my children, basically. So if your children are mixed, right? So my children are, quote, then mixed. And so my kids are different than me. So if I'm filling out a box for myself and I'm filling out a box for my children, I have to put that I'm white. I mean, I don't have to. You know what I'm saying? Like, I put that I'm white, and then I have to put that my children are white, but they're also Hispanic. What the hell does that? I mean, that's bullshit. And it just, again, I never really, I thought about it.
It's never gonna go away.
It's stupid. It's just
But
stupid.
we say that, and we can claim we're Americans all we want. But when you're Luis Sanchez your name walks in before you do, fucking spick. Yeah, here we come. We need to have, what's that word? When they have to hire a certain amount of people of color,
when they have to make their quota.
Yeah. So you know what? The people of color, why do those boxes exist? Because they also group where we live. Why is everything, I got to put my fucking zip code when I'm doing something, when I'm buying something, because they want to see everything is done in that kind of way. And we're casualties of war. Why are all the things that poison our ear and our water supplies put in the poor neighborhoods? Why are all these electric power things done near the projects or in a low poverty stricken area? And if they take up fields that they could be building housing for the homeless or for the disadvantaged who are lacking education and our minimum wage, they're building all these power plants. That's why.
Listen, I agree with you, because one thing that really disgusted the crap out of me. So like, if you want to have that quick conversation, whenever they're looking to put a cell tower, if it's in a suburban area, which let's call it what it is, it's like a predominantly white area. they have the right to fight it. So they start fighting it. They start going to the town hall and they start saying, I don't want it here. I don't want it here. And it could get stopped, right? One day I was driving and I don't remember where I was. I was in a city. It wasn't like a small city. I don't remember if it was Bridgeport or it was New Haven, but on one of the—
You said a small city?
What I mean is like it wasn't like New York, like Manhattan, like not like that. It was like a
girl, because you know how I get when you talk about Bridgeport, because Bridgeport's the largest city in the state of Connecticut.
God, relax, Jesus. It wasn't
you
that.
Talking about Bridgeport is talking about me being Puerto Rican, girl.
What I mean is there wasn't a lot of big buildings. Take it down, man. Take it down. That's what I mean.
I'm down.
So what happened was I was driving in there and I noticed on one of the apartment buildings was the 5G cell tower thing, right? It was just the stick sticking up on one of the buildings with all the 5G stuff, right? Now, whether you believe 5G or whatever, I don't care. That's not the conversation I want to have today. The point being is this, that there are questionable things that come off of these things. There's reasons why these towers are higher. There's reasons why we tend to put them in areas that are like closer to the highway where there's not a lot of residential things. And this is on a fucking apartment building in the city. Who had the choice to do this? Who allowed this? Well, obviously the owner of the building allowed this to go up. Nobody fought it. Nobody thought to fight it. Right. And I looked at that and I said, you would never see this happen. Like,
in Monroe, in Trumbull, in Shelton.
But that's what I'm saying, right? And so what happens is it's like we define ourselves based on this. And I'm saying this as an individual who, quote, is in the fucking majority. Okay. Like, I don't think this is fair. That we don't need to be doing this anymore. This is not like, we have to look at ourselves as proudly of who we are, our culture, the color of our skin is fine. I mean, you know what? It is what it is. This is what makes us different.
But look what Chanel wrote, that on her birth certificate, and her mom's, who's my cousin, who's dark skinned, and my birth certificate as well, I guess from back prior to the 70s, Chanel, we're put as white. We wasn't even a race to be acknowledged. And I'm born in 68, and my mom's 45, and then, so there was even like, who the hell is that? You were either white or black. They didn't care to find out anything else. But yeah, you're right. And who speaks up? That's why I'm saying, I don't care if you make minimum wage. I don't care if you live in P.T. Barnum or the Green Apartments. I don't care if you're on Section 8. What I care about is stay woke. Be aware of what the hell's going on in your neighborhood, especially if you're a parent. And if you got to stand up and speak your truth alone, then do it alone. Because let me tell you, it's like they say, build it, they will come. If people are afraid, so if you want to stand up for something, gather the people, tell them what's going on, educate them, be aware, make them aware of what's going on. Because I didn't know that, badass Buddha. And that hurts me that they built this, because when we do have the subject real quick, when 3G came on, I think it was the SARS virus, they try to associate, like in the 4G, it was something else that was prior to this, and then now with the 5G. So we don't need that. It's poisoning our children. It's like lulling them to like a dim light, and our children are as brilliant as anybody else's children. So what happens when we allow all this toxicity to be placed in our dwelling, in our water system, in our ear, in the vibrations that we listen to, with the mindset shift and all of that, then what are we doing for our children
today? The verbal toxicity, because this conversation is about verbal toxicity. So here's the question, or the consideration. If you agree with what we're saying, that no more minority, like no more minority, majority, like those terms need to get the fuck out. But here's the catch though. We have to all be considered. Like, we have to say, okay, you know what? I hope aliens are real so we can discriminate again. I love it. We have to think of it this way, that you can't use it for your advantage when you need to, and then discriminate against it when you don't want it. Here's what I mean. In other words, if you fight and stand up and say, okay, number one, I deserve an education, and I'm going to educate myself, and I'm going to educate my children, the people around me. It doesn't matter what your color is, your gender is, your race. It doesn't matter all that stuff. We're going to be all one people. But then you can't turn around and say, oh, but because I am, quote, a minority, I get this, this, and this. Like that's the other. See,
but see, their program. See, I see where you're getting at, and I'm gonna tell you this, and I don't think you're coming from where I'm gonna go. A lot of people use that, and we can have a long history of conversations how the farmers in Puerto Rico were living lovely on their farm, and then the law 936 came. They started building factories and bringing buildings out there and enticing the people to leave their farms to go work for Haynes or Bumblebee Tuna and all this other bullshit. Then after 10 years of tax-free business, they picked up and left. These people, now they don't have a farm to go to,
right,
a home to go to. They don't have no job because the company just left overnight. So what does the government from here does? Well, here, you can go on food stamps, and we'll give you some assistance until the next factory comes in. And then they did it again and did it again. And then now they want to say how we're lazy and depend on a system. And if it wasn't for this and it wasn't for that. And that's what it goes with now about what you were about to say. And let me tell you, when you enslave a person's mentality, doing just that after so many years, beating them up, and making them believe that they are not good enough because they are people of color, then that's what happens. And then you have people who believe in what you were about to say, not that you believe in it, please don't get offended. And then they're quick to judge any person of color as being lazy and no good.
No, I don't disagree with you.
And you know what?
Totally agree with you.
Yes, and then that's what blocks, and then the parents they might have been fighters back in the day, but now they're fearful because they don't want their children caught up in the system and hurt or targeted. So then it's like, oh, just do what they say, do what they say. And that's what just fucking pisses me off.
Yeah.
So I think that the fear needs to stay in your top drawer when you're protecting something to set the road and pave the road for your children and your grandchildren to not be labeled anymore and just be a fucking human being.
That's correct.
Where you can proudly say, I am an American because I'm treated like a human being. Can we?
You have the right. We all have the right to make the same amount of money doing the same job. Doesn't matter what your race is. It doesn't matter what your freaking gender is. We all have the right to do that. But here's the other thing is that we also have the right to educate ourselves education is a big key here. They don't send a petition to see if you want a new dollar store or a halfway house in our neighborhood, but not in fair. Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely.
And she's just responding to what you said about how this thing was.
Well, but here's the other thing. The other thing too, though, is that again, because of that suppression that you're talking about and that enabling, I bet money that even in the inner cities, you have the right to do these things, but nobody thinks that they have the right to do that,
and nobody tells us. That's what Iris was saying.
Right?
They'll build a fucking family. How many Family Dollars we need in our neighborhoods? And now they're combining Family Dollar and Dollar Tree. Like that's all we're worth is buying, low grade items. And because we feel, oh, it's cheap, we go and buy it. But you don't see that in Monroe, in Fairfield, and Trumbull. You don't see no motherfucking Family Dollars. You see a nice Walmart. You see a lot of Stop and Shops, not even ShopRites. So we need to stop investing our money in these cheap stores so that they can see that we are valuable and we do deserve better.
Yes. Right.
Because you go to the dollar store thinking you're going to buy something for $1 and you're still spending more than what you anticipated on shit that's going to not last you long. So the mentality of buying something because it's Family Dollar needs to get away from us because we're better than that.
That's right.
They keep putting those stores there, just like the liquor stores.
And you said something very key. We're better than that. Okay. This is the other thing that annoys the shit out of me is that quota. The quota, like, oh, we have to have a certain amount of white people, we have a certain amount of black people, we have a certain amount of Latino people in certain jobs. Okay. My thought is this, that we need to fight for our positions, obviously, but we also need to deserve the position. Like, I don't ever want to be given a position because they need to fill a quota for women. Like, oh, we need to have X amount of women in there. If I don't deserve the position, I want to be able to have that position and know that I can do this fucking job. I don't want to be put into position to say, okay, well, I'm there because they needed a woman, so I'm just gonna,
No.
what I'm saying is that like, we need to be accountable and step up and say no fucking more. No more minority, no more of these terms.
That's weird that I know what you're saying, but let me just correct you on something on that. No, we do need to go to some things we work hard at. But let me tell you, 9 out of 10 people I met did not fill anybody's motherfucking quota because of that. They wanted to work for it. But the mentality that people think that they have that little, oh, we need to hire 3 blacks and 2 Latinos, that we're just going to run there because, oh, we're going to get a job because they have to hire me. I've met less people with that mentality than the people who would say, no, thank you. I'm not filling your quota because I'm still going to be treated like the bottom of the totem pole. I'm just filling a quota on your paper. So I hear what you're saying, Laura, but I'm going to disagree with you because there's more people that I know that would refuse a job like that, that do work hard. They want to receive the respect for what they work for, not to fill a quota. But that mentality, what you just said, many people carry that mentality, and that's why they look down on us without really discovering that maybe 1 out of 10 people would jump to that opportunity to be treated like shit anyway.
Right. So, because to get into that position, you have to work 10 times harder than the other person that's in the position just to get the respect to say, oh, well, they deserved this position. That's what I'm saying. The quota bullshit's got to go. The minority bullshit's got to go.
Yeah, but I just want to see how you said, but people need to deserve that. They need to work for it. And that little wording you said brought me back. Like, that's how a lot of white motherfuckers think about people.
I'm glad you told me that wasn't my intention.
I don't think it was.
I mean that we need to be proud of the positions that we take, knowing that we can do the job. We don't need to be put in because a quota needs to be filled in. How about that? That's
no. And I got that. That's what you were saying. What I was referring to is that there's many people who speak with their gumption that's right, and we're just going to hire them, and then the first chance we get, they'll be the first ones we lay off. So I know a lot of people who won't put themselves in that predicament because we might be people of color, but we're brilliant just the same as anybody, and we work twice as hard because of the labels that's given to us. And you know what, there's laziness in everything. You know what, you see somebody in the projects of color, they're ghetto, but white trash looks much uglier when they're poor. So it's like, so what's the difference? There is no difference. There's either those that want to be better and those that don't. Doesn't matter what color you are, what nationality you come from. It's spread across. So why are we picked on so vehemently? And I think that for those that are listening, for you and I, we just got to keep working hard, and we need to show up for ourselves, because when I show up, I'm showing up for my Puerto Rican people. And I got to do it in a way that it's going to shine a light on them and not keep them locked behind a locked door. So that's I think that this conversation was great. We're going over time. The insight you share from your side of the gate.
We're not going over time. We started late.
And so I think that, this conversation needs to be understood. That passions are going to rise. And I'm not angry. I didn't get angry at all. But, whoever knows me knows that I'm a passionate person. And I go up and down, up and down. No, I don't get angry. When I'm speaking on something, I'm just trying to put it out there because it is passion. And people like to say, oh, I'm angry or I'm not. No, the thing is that sometimes you got to say a fuck here and a bullshit that there so that people can really pay attention. I have to be that disruptor when it comes to people of color, because I come from a dark-skinned Puerto Rican father and a pasty white Italian mother, and her family disowned us before knowing us because my father was Puerto Rican. So I lived in that mess, and I refuse to allow myself to place myself in any situation where I'm going to be treated like that without letting them know what assholes they are. And that's it. I'm done speaking.
So the bottom line is this would all go away if we all believed ourselves to be all the same.
We're
one
not,
people.
but it's not going to go away because they need us to be casualties of war so that they can stand high and win all the medals. And, I'm talking about the white, pompous ass men. I write about it in my book. They need us to be the casualties of war so that they can win the medals. That's never going to change. What's going to change is our mentality to get out of the slave thinking and say, you know what?
Yes.
I'm going to be that badass financial trade person on Wall Street sitting next to Rothschild, Winter Smith from the family legacy of Cape Cod, whatever. I can sit there. I can sit on that podium as Margarita Rodriguez. Why? Because I earned it.
That's correct.
And that's what it comes out to. Earn your stripes so nobody can knock you the fuck off your pedestal. You earn it and you work hard and you stand truth in who you are and everywhere you go, and then you move forward. And that's the only thing we can do because things are not going to change. What's going to change is your mentality. So enlighten yourself, be aware of what's around you, learn where you want to go so you can know what steps you need to conquer and accomplish to get there. Because we're all worthy of success, of abundance. We're all worthy of self-love and self-awareness. And we're all worthy to stand wherever the hell we want to stand. So, badass Buddha, you say something.
Something.
Look at, somebody wrote something. I'm sorry. I don't know who Mo wrote. She says, we need that anger about the disrespect and the discrimination. We need to stop buying garbage and demand quality. Absolutely.
Yes.
The dollar store serves a purpose. If you're traveling across country and you're running out of pads or you need a tissue to blow your damn nose in the desert, by all means run in and get it. Don't go buying all your stuff there because then you're telling the society around you that is what you're worthy of. Family Dollar and Dollar Tree. It serves a purpose like everything in life does, but it shouldn't be where you go. If you don't got a car, then start saving. And buy a damn car. Stop walking to the convenience store, which should be boycotted because they're charging you 3 times over what the price is because it's convenient. Stop living in convenience and live in abundance. Live in self-respect.
Right. And that in the end, it all comes back to the awareness and the accountability piece. You can't talk out one end and then accept the other piece.
It's all a mindset shift though.
So Mo Wright is saying we need the anger about the disrespect and discrimination. Absolutely. And it's about consistency. It's about saying no more, no mas, that this is not okay. I don't want it this way anymore. But then one person, because listen, and I'm saying this from knowing people very close in my circle that do this, complain, they don't like it this way, but then, here. And again, it could be the conditioned response, but it's about being accountable. It's if you cannot allow yourself to be enabled, if you're going to say no more.
Let me tell you, the blinders. I love that we're having this conversation. I love that we're being candid, but I'm going to have to stop you right there because I totally agree with what you're saying. I'm not defending my people who can get up and make a difference. But what I want them is to not listen to people say, well, what are you doing to make it right? You're blaming us. Well, you know what? You were since my grandmother, you've been telling us that we are worthy of this. And yes, we got to wake up. We got to show up in our lives. Absolutely badass Buddha. But that would be a 40% of what we have to do after working and struggling with 60% of changing a whole mindset of generational curses, how we've been treated as a people of color. So yeah, absolutely. We need to change, but that's going to take work. And it starts with people showing up for people in neighborhoods and saying, no mas.
That's
Absolutely.
Correct. On the other end of it, it's the people within the neighborhood. And it's the people that are out of the neighborhood that also are saying, no mas, this is not fair. It's not fair that these individuals are here having to deal with shit like this.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a common, that's what I'm saying. It's all one people. It's the people within saying, we're done with this. And the people on the outside saying, you have every right to be. And we're done with that too. And and we want to all be work together to fix this.
Absolutely. Your investment in this is just as important as my investment in this because your children are Puerto Rican. Their last name is going to let everybody know that. So I totally, that's what I'm saying. I'm so happy that we are sharing different scenarios of how we feel people need to change, because it all combines into one.
That's right. Be
aware of what the hell has been going on in your life and how it affected you. And if you don't do nothing, how it's going to affect the growth of your children. That's Once you're aware of all of that, now you got to make an effort to make a change. And if we got to hit the streets with whatever signs and make a movement like Black Lives Matter and Minds, Caregivers Lives Matter, because all lives matter. And what happens is we're here in a lot of eyes and they're here. And guess what? We need to start. We don't have that ladder to go. Shit, we better start grabbing all them cylinder blocks and all that old wood and all that garbage they allow to sit in our neighborhoods and create that stepping stone. Right. And we got to do that's in us. So absolutely be aware.
Be aware of the fact that the whole conversation started with what minority really means. Be aware of the desensitization that has occurred over the last, however, like century, for God's sake, of getting people to believe that they're only worth this much, enabling, oh, here, we'll give you this. And you and every person and every generation that took was more desensitized. And then you look around now, open your eyes and look at you where you live. And I want you to ask yourself, is this okay? Am I okay with this? Am I okay? Let me look around and see what I am in right now. And am I okay with this? Because this is how it starts. It starts with your awareness and you say, I don't want this anymore. I don't want to use this term anymore. This term is bullshit. All it does is just keep the individuals down. And we have to change our vocabulary. We have to change our terminology, change our mindset.
Absolutely.
And that's the whole point. And this is, again, a very powerful conversation that needed more time. So we will have another conversation about this, because we will have a conversation, I believe it's sometime in the summer, about just the term Hispanic.
Yes, and I love that. Stop! Look around. Where are you? What do you see? Do you like it? Do you want better? Do you want to keep wearing those pair of pants because they're your favorite and they got a hole in it, but they're still good, so I don't want to spend that money. It's so simple. Stop and look around your atmosphere right now, and then be aware and make a change. Not for you, because you're already at where you're at right now. Make a change with passion for your children. So yes, with that, we are off. Thanks everybody for coming on and listening. This is a very important matter. We will discuss it at another time. My ring finger is choking my finger. So let's my sister just said something that I'm sitting here in my pajamas and no bra. Look. So
wonderful.
Go ahead, Lori. Let's end this.
So Thursday, don't forget to join us on Thursday when we have Sarah Salter talking about travel as a lifestyle. So if you don't think it's possible for you to travel frequently, she's going to set us straight and let us know that it is possible for us to travel not just once a year, but multiple times a year and actually live that life. So again, thank you everybody for coming on, and we'll see you on Thursday. And from the Badass Buddha, remember, be you, be real, and be extraordinary.
How extraordinary.
Very extraordinary.
And from the Gladiator Guru, remember, mi gente, breathe in the beauty and breathe out the bullshit. Namaste.
Namaste, everyone. Thanks for coming.